Hello everyone, welcome to GoVMlab Mastering VCF Real Enterprise Deployment Series. This is not just another VMware tutorial series, guys. The series is designed to help engineers, architects, and VMware professionals to understand VMware Cloud Foundation, the way enterprises actually deploy it. In this particular series, we will not only just learn about the products, but we will understand VCF architecture, VCF automation, VCF operations, VCF lifecycle management, and building a real enterprise deployment thinking. And today is the episode number 1 of our Mastering VCF series. And in today's first lecture, we will understand that why traditional infrastructure fails. We will understand that how modern infrastructure is evolving. We will also understand that why VMware Cloud Foundation, why VCF is becoming the foundation of today's modern enterprise cloud platform. So if you want to grow beyond just managing virtual machine and start understanding how real enterprise cloud platforms are built, then this series is for you. I am Neeraj Mantri, VMware and cloud security architect with 90 years of experience in virtualization, data center, and the cloud security solutions. So with that, let's start, guys, and let's understand why the future of infrastructure is software defined. Because the future belongs to engineers who understand architecture. So with that, let's get started. Now, if you look at this particular slide, it clearly says that the future of infrastructure is not manual. The future of infrastructure is automated, integrated, and software defined. And that's one of the key things we really need to understand, that gone are those days when we really used to deal with manual, traditional infrastructure. Today, the infrastructure are software defined, which can be automated, integrated, right? And that's the whole idea of VMware Cloud Foundation. Now, if you really look at this particular slide, the slide says that IT infrastructure is changing fast and workloads are no longer running in one place. Today, we all know that the workloads are everywhere, right? Earlier, everything was simple. Applications were running inside your data center. It could be your own secure, controlled, and reliable private data center. And the good thing in early those days, because your applications were running inside your data center, were one environment, one team, and one control mechanism to manage all the operations. But today, the reality is that the workloads are no longer in one place. They are no longer in one place. Today, your workloads are distributed. Some workloads are running in the public cloud to get you the scalability, the elasticity capability of the cloud, right? Some workloads are running in the private data center to make them more secure, more controlled, and reliable data centers. And today, some of the workloads are running on the edge locations as well. Your low latency, high bandwidth workloads are running on the edge locations. So, the point, what we are trying to highlight here is that this is not evolution. This is not an evolution. What do we see that? This is the fragmentation, right? And we really need to understand this fragmentation. And let's move on to the next slide, which says that your infrastructure is fragmented. Now, why are we saying that our infrastructure is fragmented? The reason is why, because my workloads are distributed everywhere. Today, my workloads are not running in one place. And because of this fragmented architecture, we have a different kind of environment. One environment is a public cloud where my workloads are running on AWS, Azure, GCP. And most important thing is that I am having a different set of tools. I'm having a different set of team, which is managing this environment in an isolated way. The second, where some of my workloads are still running in my native on-prem data center to have a more secure, controlled environment. But the problem is that tools again are different. To manage my workloads running in my on-prem data center is being governed and managed by a different set of tools. My security policies are different. And my on-prem security policies not necessarily will be aligning with my public cloud security policies. Not necessarily the team who is managing my on-prem data center would be aligning with my public cloud data center team, because the different team is managing the different environment. And on top of that, we do have some of the workloads which are running on the edge locations, which is again a different set of tools, a different set of team, a different set of policies managing it. So the biggest problem here is that no standardization, no consistency across this environment. Every environment is running in their own silos. And because of every infrastructure is running in their own silos, there is no visibility, there is no end-to-end visibility into my workloads. And because there is no consistency, there is no visibility, obviously you will not have a complete control, a unified control over this platform. Because of the inconsistency, because of the brutality of this infrastructure, because of this fragmented infrastructure. And now imagine a scenario where your workloads are everywhere. You have a different set of team, different set of tools, and different set of policies managing this environment. And imagine a critical production issue happens. A critical production issue happens. The biggest challenge is here is that where do you even start? We don't know what is that layer is causing the actual production issues, and it might take hours or days to figure it out, that where to even start the troubleshooting the issues. And this is where the most engineers fail, because of this fragmented architecture, because of this inconsistency, because of this lack of visibility, and because of the lack of unified control. And this kind of fragmented architecture imposes a next set of problems. What could be this problem? The first problem is complex operations. My entire data center operation becomes complex because now today my workloads are everywhere. They are not confined within one location. They are running everywhere, dealing with different set of technologies, dealing with different set of tools. And that is where the visibility become a concern, the operational execution becomes a concern, and most important thing, the deployment gets way much slower, because you will never ever have a scenario or the solution where your applications are confined within one particular environment. It could happen that your three-tier application architecture, where your web application or maybe your application architecture is working on cloud or deployed on the cloud, but your database of that three-tier application is still running in the on-prem data center. And that is where you want this three-tier application architecture to be scalable. But because of this fragmented architecture, the brutality of this architecture, the deployment becomes too much slower. The security gaps, another very important thing we should be looking at it as an enterprise. Because if you really see that, why security is one of the bigger concern today. When you create a security policies, let's say I am running some of the workloads on AWS, my AWS security policy will not be aligned with my on-prem data center security policies. My on-prem data center security policy will not align with my edge location security policies. And because of which, what happens? You will have an inconsistent security policies, different tools, different teams, and that imposes a next set of security challenges, which is your gaps into the security. And we all know that the gaps in the security can imposes a next set of challenges in terms of, as an organization, business losses, right? And the higher cost. Why we are saying that higher cost? Because in this fragmented architecture, you need to have a multiple teams, you need to have a multiple tools, you need to have a multiple policies, and then multiple dashboard to maintain this infrastructure, to monitor this infrastructure end to end, to give you complete visibility, to give you complete control. You have to deal with heterogeneity. And the worst part is that there is no standard way of managing this fragmented infrastructure. If I ask you this question, that you have a customer where the workloads are deployed everywhere, there some of their workloads are deployed on public cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP. Some of their workloads are deployed on the private cloud, let's say VMware, and some of the workloads are running on the edge cloud. Now, the point here is that if you want to manage this infrastructure, you want to manage this fragmented infrastructure in a consistent way, how would you do that? How would you make sure that a one security policy gets applied to all of these workloads, all of these distributed workloads, wherever they're running? I don't really care. How could you do that? How could I manage my entire data center or my entire data center operations to a single pane of glass with complete end-to-end visibility? The worst part is that there is no standard way. There is no standard way of managing this brutal architecture, this fragmented infrastructure from a single pane of glass. And today, if you really see that, the industry is already moving. This is not just theory, guys. The industry is already moving. If you see, 59% of enterprises want to reduce their operational complexity. Nobody really want to have this fragmented infrastructure in today's AI driven world, what we're talking about it. The 90% of organization already moving to the containerized applications, and 60% of organization is already shifting towards OPEX driven IT investment rather than having a heavy lifted investments where the companies are investing a lot more into the managing different environment, managing different tools, upskilling different teams, and again getting into the same brutal complexity. So if you really see that enterprise, none of the enterprise want complex architecture. Every single enterprise today want architecture which is less complex, more automated, and can deliver a faster execution. Everyone want less complexity, more automation, and faster delivery. And that is the reason we are shifting towards a world of modern applications, containerizations, and the cloud native environments. That's what the enterprise are really moving today. Now, I'll take a pause here, guys. If this is making sense to you, whatever we have been discussing in the last few minutes, I would say you're already thinking beyond L2 level. And we would really request you guys to subscribe to GoVMlab YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, because in this particular VCF series, we are not just going to learn the tools, but we are going to explore the architecture. So please support us by subscribing to GoVMlab YouTube channel. Now, we have been keep talking about this thing again and again, guys, and that is the crux of the VMware Cloud Foundation. We really need to understand that workloads are everywhere. Your workloads are growing, and these workloads are exploding across all these infrastructure, whether it's being public cloud, whether it's being private cloud, and whether it's being your edge locations. And because these workloads are exploding everywhere, it always creates a new set of challenges. Because whenever you have a distributed workloads, whenever you have a diverse environment, it will imposes a new set of challenges for you, a new set of operational challenges for you. And every time the question comes up that how do I manage everything from a single pane of glass? How do I manage all these distributed workloads? How do I manage all this diverse environment from a one single unified platform? Right? How could I get a consistency around that? And that is where every single enterprise is looking for a solution. So the real question is that what do enterprise really need? You can't come and tell the enterprises that please don't put your workloads everywhere. Just confine your workloads to one infrastructure, whether it's being public cloud, whether it's being private cloud, whether it's being edge location. But that's not the reality. You can't enforce organization to confine their workloads to one single location, right? And that is the exact reason your enterprises have workloads everywhere. And today, the enterprise really need a way to simplify their operations. And that is what the enterprise is looking forward today. The enterprise does not need more tools. They don't need more teams, more platforms, more dashboards. They don't need that. They don't need more complex and brutal architecture and infrastructure. What enterprise really need today is a one platform. They need one platform, one architecture, and one operating model. That's what enterprise really need it. They need that consistency in their infrastructure so that they can manage, they can have a one unified platform, which is giving you that consistency. And that's where VMware introduced a VCF, VMware Cloud Foundation, which provides a fully integrated cloud platform, which brings you consistency, which brings you automation built on software defined services for compute, for storage, for networking, for security. And that can be controlled across all the environment. That's what VCF is, right? So if you really see that, so far we understood the problem. Infrastructure today is fragmented. We discussed about that my infrastructure is fragmented today, where some of the workloads are running on public cloud, some of the workloads are running on my on-prem data centers, some of the workloads are running on my edge locations. And we have discussed that these applications and workloads are everywhere, in private data center, in public cloud, and also increasing at the edge location. But the biggest challenge is not where workloads are running. That is not the challenge for the enterprise today, that where workloads are running, because we want to get the benefit of every infrastructure, whether it's being cloud, whether it's being on-prem data center, whether it's being your edge locations, because every infrastructure gives you certain capabilities and we want to make use of that. So the biggest challenge is not where we run our workloads. The real challenge is that maintaining consistency across all these heterogeneous environments. That is the real challenge, where how do we maintain consistency across all these environments. And this is exactly where your VMware Cloud Foundation comes in. This is what your VMware Cloud Foundation is all about. It this VMware Cloud Foundation, so-called VCF, it is designed to give you one unified infrastructure across cloud, across data centers, and across edge location. This VCF gives you one platform, one operating model, one unified platform across any cloud, being it public cloud, being it private cloud, and across any application, being it your VMs, being it your containers, being it your AI/ML workloads. So that is the whole idea in a crux. If you really want to understand VCF, the whole idea of VCF is giving you one consistent, one unified platform. Same architecture, same operations, same experience. Today, no matter where your workloads are running, whether they're running on AWS, Azure, GCP, or whether you're running them on-prem, everything can be managed through a single pane of glass. It's the same VC, same architecture, same vSphere architecture, same operations, same tools, same skill set, and same experience you can leverage everywhere. That is the beauty of VCF. If you really see that what VCF is giving you, the what of the value proposition of VCF is giving you the infrastructure consistency. Enterprise today no longer need different tools. You don't require different tools to manage the workloads on AWS, to manage the workloads on Azure, to manage the workloads on-prem. You don't require different tools anymore now. You don't have to manage a different deployment model also, and different operational behaviors for every environment. You don't need to deal with multiple dashboards to see the end-to-end visibility and end-to-end governance for all of these heterogeneous environments. Today, VMware Cloud Foundation bring that consistent infrastructure for you. It brings you that infrastructure consistency, where you don't need to deal with different tools. It will give you same platform. When I say same platform, imagine if you're coming, obviously everyone would be coming from a vSphere environment. When I say same platform, imagine your same vCenter server. The same vCenter server you are using to manage the workloads running on public cloud, the same vCenter server you are using to manage the workloads on on-prem data center, and same vCenter server you're using to manage your workloads on edge location. That is what we're talking about. Same platform, same consistency, same operations. Let's say you have ARIA operations or any of the operation solutions you have been using. You can use that same operation solution, ARIA operation for logs, ARIA operation for network insights, ARIA operation for the storage, right? You can use all of these operation solution to manage or see the workloads running on the cloud or maybe in the on-prem or the edge location. That's the beauty what VMware gives you. That's the experience what VCF gives you. And that is the whole meaning of consistency for every environment. So VCF is trying to give you the standardized operating model, one unified platform with the same architecture, same consistency. That is what VCF is giving you. The second major advantage what VCF gives you is automated operations. The second biggest major advantage what VCF is giving you is automation. Today, you don't need to do a manual infrastructure management. Imagine a scenario in early those days, if you're coming from a vSphere background, how much time a team used to spend time in patching of ESXi, patching of vCenter server, upgrades of ESXi, upgrades of vCenter server, a big pain. If you're coming from NSX background, again, patching, upgrading your NSX manager, your transport nodes, edge nodes used to be a big challenge. And that require a lot of manual management, which cannot scale at that level, right? But today, what VCF does, it gives you automation, a complete lifecycle management. Today, VCF simplify everything for you right there from the deployment, your deployment, lifecycle management, upgrades, automation, everything is automated. The entire lifecycle automation is being provided by VCF across cloud, across data center, across edges. And that's the beauty what VCF really simplifies you. That you don't need to do any, you don't need to put a lot of effort in doing this patch management, upgrade management anymore now. The VCF automates everything for you. And good thing is that VCF automates everything for you across all these infrastructure for you. That's the beauty what VCF gives you. Then you have something called built-in security. The security is one of the bigger concern, right? Nobody, no enterprise, no customer want to compromise with the security. And the good thing is that you don't rely on the third-party tools. You don't rely on some additional tools to give you the security and protect your workloads running on this infrastructure. VMware VCF gives you built-in security right there, directly into the platform. It is not added later. Your security is built right there into the platform, and it is integrated directly into your architecture. That is where the VCF gives you the security by design itself. It gives you zero trust capability like microsegmentation, policy-based controls, zero trust principle, compliance, governance, everything built into the architecture itself, right? And ultimately, if you really see, all of these leads consistent infrastructure, automated operations, built-in security, all of these leads to a better business outcomes. Because as an enterprise with this VCF, you get a faster deployment, you get low operational cost, and you get higher agility. And most importantly, you get the reduced risk. And this is the real vision of VCF. And that is what VCF is, where the VCF gives you one single unified platform which can support your workloads running anywhere. When I say anywhere, any cloud, any infrastructure. And good thing is that it will give you this capability across any application, whether it's being VM, whether it's running inside VMs, whether it's running inside containers, Kubernetes, or your AI/ML based workloads. And this is the exact reason, guys, why enterprises today are moving from an isolated infrastructure to a one unified platform, isolated infrastructure to the one unified cloud platform. And this is exactly where VCF fits in. This is VCF. Always remember, guys, VCF is not just a product. It is a complete cloud platform where your compute, where your storage, where your networking, automation, everything integrated into one system. And we will be learning about all of these components as when we progress with this particular series. So that's a wrap, guys. That's a wrap of our lecture number 1 of our VCF series. Today, you understood the problem. You understood that why the infrastructure is fragmented today and how VCF gives you one single unified platform with the same architecture, same operational model, and supporting across any cloud, any application, right? In the next lecture, we will go and we'll understand that what exactly the VCF is, what are the key components of the VCF, what is the VCF architecture, and then we'll talk about the key use cases of the VCF. And trust me, guys, that is where it gets really interesting. So we would request everyone to please subscribe to GoVMlab YouTube channel and start learning VMware the way enterprise deploy. Because at GoVMlab, we don't just teach tools. We teach how enterprise build infrastructure. Thanks once again, guys, for joining us in today's lecture, and stay tuned for our next lecture, number 2 or episode number 2 of VMware Mastering VCF series. Thank you.